add my name to the house. Zhou Ran put down his chopsticks and spoke in a casual tone, as if he was saying, what are we going to eat tonight? I was stunned for a moment. 10 years of marriage and 10 years of AA. The water and electricity bills are AA, the living expenses are AA, and even the red envelopes given to both parents during the Chinese New Year are AA. He never mentioned the house. This house was bought in full by my parents, and it is in my name. We're getting old too, he smiled. With my name on the house, it will be convenient for us to take care of ourselves in the future. I looked at him and said nothing. He picked up another dish with chopsticks and added, you don't have any trust at all, do you? Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. But I suddenly remembered something. Last week, he changed his mobile phone and asked me to help guide photos on his old mobile phone. I saw the balance column on his bank app. A number I never knew. 1. Zhou Ran and I are college classmates. He chased me for 3 years, and we got together the year we graduated. After 2 years of dating, they got married. Before marriage, he proposed the AA system. We are both independent people, he said. The AA system is the fairest. I think it makes sense. I don't want to be the one asking for money, and I don't want to turn my marriage into a financial account. Love should be pure. Made in AA, pretty good. So when we got married, he paid for the wedding and I paid for the wedding room. The wedding cost $80,000. My parents paid the full amount for the wedding house, $1.27 million. Zhou Ran said, in the future, we will be AA for decoration and home appliances. I nodded. The decoration cost $150,000. I paid $75,000 and he paid $75,000. The home appliances cost $30,000. I contributed $15,000 and he contributed $15,000.
Fair.
Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. I smiled and said, Mom, we have a good relationship. My mother sighed and said nothing more. At that time, I felt that my mother was old-fashioned and didn't understand young people's marriage. Zhou Ran and I are equal. We AA, we are independent, and we don't take advantage of anyone. This is what modern marriage should be like. In the first year of marriage, everything was wonderful. Zhou Ran works as a product manager in an internet company, earning a monthly salary of 20,000 yuan. I work as a copywriter in an advertising company, earning a monthly salary of 8,000. We agreed, AA for water and electricity, AA for property management, AA for shopping and cooking, and everyone should pay for eating out. It doesn't matter if you earn less, Zhou Ran said. We can also make AA in proportion. I shook my head. No, just split it equally. It's fair. I didn't want him to think I was taking advantage. So every month, we each transfer money to a common account for daily expenses. 5,000 per person. Settlement at the end of the month. Any excess will be refunded and less will be reimbursed. I think this is good. Clearly. Until I got pregnant. In the 3rd month of pregnancy, I started experiencing morning sickness. I was vomiting so much that I couldn't eat anything, and I didn't have the energy to go to work. Zhou Ran felt very sorry for me and bought me a lot of fruits and nutritional supplements. Then when settling the accounts at the end of the month, he included the money spent on fruits and nutritional supplements as public expenses. This is for our children, he said. Of course it's AA. I was stunned for a moment and nodded. Yes, it should be. Prenatal care fee, AA. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. When I was giving birth, I had a cesarean section and stayed in the hospital for 5 days, which cost me 12,000 yuan. Zhou Ran transferred 6,000 to me. Thank you for your hard work, wife. He kissed my forehead. Take good care of yourself. I was lying on the hospital bed. The wound was still hurting. The nurse came in to change the dressing. I was so painful that I broke into a cold sweat. Zhou Ran was on the phone nearby, talking about work. I didn't say anything. There's no pain in giving birth. Confinement was taken care of by my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law came from her hometown and stayed for 40 days. She wasn't very good at cooking, so I ate plain porridge, eggs, and pig's trotter soup for 40 days. The pig's trotter soup is salted, and my mother-in-law said it would increase milk intake. I had a fever 3 times due to breast congestion, and Zhou Ran took me to the hospital each time. Registration fee, examination fee, medicine fee, AA. I have no problem with that. Really no objection. What I thought at that time was, we are equal. Having a child is a decision we make together, and the expenses should of course be borne together.
Fair.
On the day her mother-in-law left, Zhou Ran gave her 5,000 yuan, saying it was hard work money. This money comes from the public account. I asked. Zhou Ran thought for a while. Forget it, I'll go out. It's my mother. I nodded. Later I found out that he had deducted the 5,000 yuan from the public account. He said, my mother is here to help both of us, not just me. I said nothing. It seems, right? During my 3-month maternity leave, my salary was only the basic salary, which was nearly 20,000 yuan less. Zhou Ran's salary was paid as usual, and he also received a year-end bonus of 18,000 yuan at the end of the year. He was very happy and treated me to a big meal. Buffet, 2 people, 398. Pay 199 each. I held the baby in my arms, ate for half an hour, and then went home. The child needs to be fed. Zhou Ran ate for another hour. He said, you go first and I'll get the food back. After my maternity leave, I went back to work. The company's business was adjusted and I was transferred to a marginal department. The leader was very polite. Xiao Su, you just gave birth to a child, so you have to take care of your family. This department should be more relaxed. The salary is 1,050 less. Zhou Ran said, it's okay, let's make AA in proportion. I transfer 4,000 to the public account every month, and he transfers 6,000. That's fair, he said. Don't stress. I said yes. When my child was 6 months old, I started carrying breast milk. I would hide in the company toilet to express milk at noon every day and hide again in the afternoon. The motor of the breast pump was very loud. I was afraid that my colleagues would hear me, so I locked myself in the innermost cubicle. One time, I didn't close it tightly and was caught by the cleaning lady. She didn't say anything and silently closed the door. I cried in the cubicle for 10 minutes. Zhou Ren called me and asked me what I wanted to eat for lunch, and I said anything. He said, then I'll order takeout. I'll pay for your share. Just transfer it to me in the evening. I said yes. When the child was 1 year old, we invited an aunt. Andy's salary is 4,500 per month, AA. I offered 2,250 and he offered 2,250. Auntie cooks, takes care of the children, and does housework. But my aunt gets off work at 6 o'clock every day. What happens after dinner is mine. Give the baby a bath, Maine. Put the kids to bed, me. The child cried in the middle of the night, me. Zhou Ran was playing games in the study. I said, can you help me calm down? I'm really tired. He took off his headphones. What did you say? Child, help me comfort you. He looked at the computer and then at me. I'm going to finish this right now. Please wait a little longer. I waited for 40 minutes. The child was tired of crying and fell asleep on his own. Zhou Ren came out of the study and stretched. Hey, are you asleep? You are quite powerful. I said nothing. When the child was 2 years old, the aunt resigned. She said something happened at home and she went back to her hometown. We started taking care of the kids ourselves. I get up at 6 o'clock every morning, make breakfast for my children, send them to daycare, and then go to work. I get off work at 6 p.m., pick up the children, go home to cook, bathe the children, and put them to bed. Zhou Ran gets up at 8 o'clock every morning and goes to work. I get home at 7 o'clock in the evening, eat, go to the study, play games, and go to bed. I asked him, can you help with some housework? He said, I am under a lot of pressure at work, and I just want to relax when I get home. I said, I work too. He said, how tiring can your job be? I was stunned. He added, besides, you are good at doing housework. I am clumsy, and the more you help me, the harder it becomes. I still didn't speak. He may have thought that I was unhappy, so he came over and hugged me. Thank you for your hard work, my wife. I will take you out for a big dinner on the weekend. On the weekend, we went to have a Japanese meal. 450 per capita. To each his own. After eating, he asked me, are you feeling good? I said, it's cool. I didn't tell him that after paying off the mortgage and paying off the credit cards, I only had 800 yuan left in my salary that month. That meal was used for next month's living expenses. When the child was 3 years old, my mother fell ill. Gallstones require surgery. I took a week off and went back to my hometown to take care of her. The surgery cost 23,000 yuan, and I paid for it. I didn't let Zhou Ran AA. That's my mother. After I came back, I was rated C in the company's performance evaluation. The leader said, Xiao Su, you have taken too many leaves recently, which has affected your work. I said, okay, I'll pay attention. As a year-end bonus, I got 1,002. Zhou Ran took 28,000. He was very happy and bought himself a watch for $32,000. You make your own decisions with your own money, he said. You can also buy something you like. I thought about it and bought a pair of shoes for my child. Discounted, 178. When the child was 4 years old, her mother-in-law also fell ill. Hypertension requires long-term medication and care. Zhou Ren asked me, how about let my mother come and stay for a while? I said yes. After my mother-in-law moved in addition to taking care of the children, I also had to take care of my mother-in-law every day. My mother-in-law likes soup, so I make soup every night. My mother-in-law has bad legs and feet, so I help her go downstairs for a walk every morning. The mother-in-law and the children fight to watch the TV, and I am responsible for mediating. Zhou Ran was playing games in the study. One day I couldn't hold it any longer and said to Zhou Ran, can you play less games and help share the load? Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. I said, your mother is not in good health. Shouldn't you take more care of her? Zhou Ran said, I am a son, and some things are inconvenient. You are the daughter-in-law. Isn't it your duty to take care of your mother-in-law? I was stunned. He added, besides, your salary is low, and the loss of taking leave is small. If I take leave, it will cost several hundred a day. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. That night, I lay in bed and couldn't sleep. I remembered what my mother said. This house has your name written on it. You just have to know it in your mind. I suddenly had an idea in my mind. 10 years. AA system for 10 years. How much money did he save? What about me? Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. 2. My mother-in-law lived in my house for 3 months. On the day she left, Zhou Ran transferred another 5,000 yuan to her. This time, he deducted it directly from the public account. Mom worked hard, he said. She helped us share a lot of burdens. Help us share the burden? In the past 3 months, I have cooked 3 meals a day for my mother-in-law. I went to get her medicine. I washed her clothes. Whatever she wants to eat, I'll buy it. When she quarrels with her children, I go to calm her down. Her legs hurt in the middle of the night, so I got up to give her a massage. What did Zhou Ran do? He came back from get off work, chatted with his mother-in-law for 10 minutes, and then went into the study to play games. I took my mother-in-law to the park twice over the weekend and took some photos to post on WeChat Moments. The accompanying text is, walking with my mother in the park, a mother is kind and her son is filial. There are a lot of likes below. Zhou Ran is so filial. I envy my aunt for having such a good son. I looked at those comments and said nothing. On the 3rd day after her mother-in-law left, Zhou Ran got a new mobile phone. He threw his old phone to me and said, help me import the photos. I need to back up some work data. I said yes. At night, after the child went to bed, I started sorting out his old mobile phones. There are many photos, thousands of them from wedding to now. I was deleting and reading at the same time, and memories came flooding back to me. We were both young when we got married. He is thin, and so am I. We had a lot of laughs. What now? I looked at myself in the mirror. There are fine lines at the corners of the eyes and spots on the face. The waist is thicker and half of the hair is missing. Where is Zhou Ran? He has gained weight, but still looks relaxed. Play games every day, drink beer, and sleep in on weekends. I suddenly felt very unfair. But I can't tell where the unfairness lies. Obviously, we have an AA system and no one takes advantage of anyone. Obviously, we each earn what we each earn and each spend what we each earn. Why am I so tired? Why can't I save money? I continued to look through his phone, looking for photos. I accidentally clicked on the bank app. He didn't log out. I saw the balance on the home page. A number. 1.87 million. I stared at that number and read it 3 times. 1.87 million. I turned to my bank app again. 230,000. This is all my savings, including the 100,000 my mother gave me, saying it would be used for my children's schooling in the future. In other words, I have only saved 130,000 in the past 10 years. He saved 1.87 million. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. We have been doing AA for 10 years. I sat on the couch, my hands shaking. I suddenly remembered many things. I remember when I was pregnant, I was vomiting so much that he gave me nutritional supplements. I remember when I was on maternity leave, my salary was reduced by 20,000 yuan and he received 18,000 yuan in year-end bonus. I remember when my child was young, I expressed milk, fed him, and changed diapers every day while he played games and studied. I remembered that my mother was ill and I paid 23,000 yuan for the surgery, but he didn't pay a penny. I remembered that my mother-in-law was hospitalized and I took care of her for 3 months. He deducted 5,000 yuan from the public account. I remember that every time we go out to eat, everyone pays for themselves. I remember that every time I buy something, everyone spends his own money. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. Made in AA. What a fair AA system. He paid the utility bill. He paid the property fee. He spent money to buy groceries. But he doesn't have the time for me. He doesn't have the energy to AA me. He didn't have to pay for my pregnancy and childbirth. He does not have the labor of raising children, doing housework, and taking care of my parents-in-law. He has nothing AA. He just divided the part that could be calculated with numbers into 2 halves. The parts that can't be calculated with numbers are all mine. I sat on the couch and stared at the number. 1.87 million. I suddenly laughed. He saved 1.87 million and then told me, it's time to add my name to the house. What an AA system. 3. I put the phone aside and took a deep breath. Calm. I told myself to calm down. It's been 10 years and I can't lose my mind just because of a number. But that number, like a thorn, stuck in my heart. 1.87 million versus 130,000. The difference is 1.74 million. We worked in the same year. His starting salary is a little higher, 20,000. My starting salary is a little lower, 8,000. But 10 years later, his salary has increased to 40,000, while mine is still 13,000. The gap has widened, but not by that much. What's the problem? I found pen and paper and started calculating. Zhou Ran's income. In the first few years of my career, my monthly salary was 20,000 yuan and my annual salary was about 250,000 yuan. Later, it was raised to 30,000 with an annual salary of 350,000. Now it's 40,000 and the annual salary is about 500,000. On average, over 10 years, the annual income is about 350,000. 10 years, 3.5 million. After deducting the money paid to the public account every year, it is about 60,000. 10 years, 600,000. 3.5 million dash 600, 000 equals 2.9 million. Even if he has other expenses such as eating, buying clothes, and buying watches, he spends 50,000 yuan a year and 500,000 yuan in 10 years. 2.9 million dash 500, 000 equals 2.4 million. He should have about 2.4 million. But he only has 1.87 million. 530,000 less. Where did the 530,000 go? I continued to look through his phone. The bank statement is too long and I can't read it one by one. But I noticed that there was a transfer record and the amount was 20,000. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. I clicked in to take a look. In the past 3 years, the money he transferred to his mother totaled $260,000. I knew he gave his mother-in-law some money every year, but I thought it was a few $1,000s. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. I never knew. I continued to watch. There were also some transfers to a person named Lao Lu. The amount is not large, several $1,000s, but it is very frequent. I roughly calculated it, and it added up to $80,000 in 3 years. Who is Lao Lu? I don't know. There are also some consumption records. A high-end club, $5,800. A certain bar, $3,200. A certain brand store, $12,000. I watched it for half an hour, and the more I watched, the colder I became. His life is much richer than I imagined. He has his own social life, his own hobbies, and his own consumption. And what about me? What is my life? Go to work, get off work, take care of the kids, do housework, sleep. Weekend? Take your children to the park, go to the supermarket to buy groceries, and cook at home. It's been a long time since I bought a decent piece of clothing. It's been a long time since I've gone out to eat with friends. It's been a long time since I spent a penny on myself. Because I have no money. After paying the monthly salary to the public account and paying off the mortgage, the rest is given to the children. Milk powder, diapers, clothes, toys, early education classes, and interest classes. I never let Zhao Ran take care of children's things. I feel like that's my responsibility. But what about him? He shouted AA system while transferring money out. For his mother, $260,000. To Lao Lu, $80,000. There are also those clubs, bars, and luxury goods. He decides on his own money. My money? All my money went to this family. It dawned on me. The so-called AA system is not fair at all. I am using my money and my time to support this family. And he just stayed in this home for 10 years. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. I put down my phone and walked to the balcony. The night wind was very cool, which made me wake up a little. I think of what my mother said. This house has your name written on it. Just know it yourself. I know it well. After 10 years, I finally have a clear idea. 4. The next day, Zhou Ran came back from get off work with a cake in his hand. I bought it for you, he said with a smile. Don't you like eating the cheesecake here? I looked at the cake. It was 128 pieces. Thank you. I took it and put it on the table. What's wrong? Zhou Ran looked at me. Are you unhappy? No, I said. I'm just a little tired. Go to bed early if you're tired, he said. I'm going to take a shower. He entered the bathroom and I heard the sound of running water. I stood in the living room looking at the cake. 128 yuan. He transfers 260,000 to his mother a year and buys me a cake worth 128 yuan. He spends tens of thousands in the club a year and bought me a cake worth 128 yuan. He saved 1.87 million and bought me a cake worth 128 yuan. Then he asked me, what's wrong? Are you unhappy? I don't know how to answer. I don't know where to start. At night, the child went to sleep. Zhou Ran was playing games in the study, and I walked in. There's something I want to ask you. I said. What? He didn't look back and stared at the screen. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. His hand paused for a moment, then continued. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. Just wanted to know. It's not much, he said. It costs a lot more to mess with. How much exactly? He finally turned his head and looked at me. What do you mean? I just want to know how much money you have saved. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. I said nothing. He stood up with an unhappy expression on his face. Did you look through my phone? Yes. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. You asked me to help you direct the photos. He was stunned for a moment and then sneered. I don't show you my privacy by showing you the photo. Is bank balance considered private? I asked. Shouldn't the property between husband and wife be transparent to each other? He stared at me, his eyes a little cold. Su Qing, we agreed on the AA system. My money is mine, and your money is yours. You have no right to control how much I save. I didn't care, I said. I just wanted to know a number. So, what if you know? I know. I looked at him. 1.87 million. His expression changed. You saved 1.87 million. I continued. I saved 130,000. That's because you don't have the ability. His voice rose a little. We have been in AA for 10 years, I said. Can you tell me why there is such a big difference? Because I make more and you make less. Just because of this? Otherwise, he stared at me. Su Qing, what exactly do you want to say? I took a deep breath. What I want to say is dash. Your AA system only pays for the money on the surface. Utilities, property fees, living expenses. But I am pregnant, giving birth, taking care of the children, doing housework, taking care of your mother. What are you going to do about these? He froze. I took 3 months of maternity leave and my salary was reduced by 20,000 yuan. You received a year-end bonus of 18,000 yuan. I take care of the children, cook, and wash clothes every day while you play games in the study. My mother was sick, so I paid 23,000 yuan. Your mother lived in my house for 3 months, and you deducted 5,000 yuan from the public account. I have to think about buying a piece of clothing for a long time, but you turn around and buy a watch worth 32,000 yuan. The money I spend on myself in a year is no more than 2,000 yuan. I looked at your consumption in the club a year, and it's more than 30,000 yuan. I looked at him and said word by word, Zhou Ran, tell me, is this fair? His face looked ugly. After a long silence, he spoke. Su Qing, what woman doesn't do things like taking care of children and doing housework? I was stunned. If you thought it was unfair, why didn't you say it in the first place? We agreed on the AA system, and I followed the rules. What do you mean by going over old scores now? He looked at me, confident. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. You earn less, you save less, who do you blame? I didn't stop you from getting promoted, and I didn't stop you from making money. You can't do it yourself, do you blame me? I took a deep breath. Okay, I nodded. You're right. It's my problem that I make less money. Then let's talk clearly today. The house without your name. His expression changed instantly. What's the meaning? That's what it means literally. I said, my parents bought the house, and it's in my name. I won't add your name. Su Qing. He raised his voice. We are husband and wife. They're a couple, I said. An AA couple. Your money is yours, and my money is mine. My house is, of course, mine. He stared at me as if he didn't recognize me. Su Qing, you have changed. You made me change. I turned around and walked out of the study. His voice came from behind. Su Qing, come back here. I didn't look back. 5. That night we had a big fight. Zhou Ran said that I looked through his phone because he didn't trust him. I said he mentioned the house and name because he was thinking about my property. He said I was careless and petty. I said he was selfish and never considered me. At the end of the quarrel, he slammed the door and walked out. I came back after 2 o'clock in the morning, smelling of alcohol. I was lying on the bed, not asleep. I'm thinking about one thing. What have I been planning for these 10 years? Does he love me? He even wants AA for every meal. Want him to be nice to me? He transfers 260,000 to his mother every year and buys me 128 pieces of cake. Is he a good husband? When his children are sick, they don't even take leave to take care of them because taking leave will cause huge losses. Is he a good father? He spends less time with his children than playing games. So, what am I planning? I can't figure it out. The next day, Zhou Ran went to work as if nothing was wrong. He glanced at me before leaving and said nothing. I take my kids to kindergarten and then go to work. On the way, my mother called. Qing Qing, what's wrong with you? Something doesn't sound right. I couldn't help it and told my mother what happened yesterday. My mother was silent for a long time. Qing Qing, Mom, tell you the truth. When you wanted to have an AA system, Mom didn't agree. But you said you have a good relationship and that the AA system is fair. Mom didn't stop you. But Mom has always felt that the AA system in marriage is just a hooliganism. I was stunned. Think about it, what is AA? Everyone pays for AA and no one takes advantage of anyone else. But what is marriage? Marriage is two people tied together and living together. You are pregnant, giving birth, taking care of children, and doing housework. How can you handle these things? Can he help you get pregnant? Can he help you give birth? Can he help you breastfeed? He can't do these things, but he wants you to do the things he can do. He did what he could and said it was fair. Those things you can do, he treats as if they don't exist. What's this fair? My tears fell. Mom, you are right. Qing Qing, listen to what Mom has to say. Even if I die, I can't add his name to that house. That's your father's and my life. We have been frugally saving our whole life to save for this house. I give it to you because you are our daughter. Not for your family. Not for Zhou Ran. I cover my mouth to prevent myself from crying. Mom, I know. Also, think carefully about whether you still want this marriage. Mom didn't ask you to get a divorce. But you have to think clearly about what you want from him. What's the point of being together if you don't plan for anything? The phone was hung up. I stood on the roadside and cried for a long time. In the afternoon, I took half a day off. I went to the bank and printed out a copy of Zhou Ran's statement. It needs to be in person to print, but I am his emergency contact. The girl at the bank looked at my ID card and then my marriage certificate, but didn't say anything else. I took the stack of running water and found a cafe to sit down. Look at them one by one. The more I looked, the uglier my face became. He transferred the fucking money, not 260,000. It's 430,000. Some were deposited in cash and then transferred with no notes. I haven't seen that before. There is also the one named Lao Lu. I checked the records. Lao Lu is his poker friend. They often play cards together, sometimes losing and sometimes winning. In 3 years, he lost 120,000. He also bought a watch, not the 32,000 watch. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. He was hidden and I never saw him. I put away the running water and took a deep breath. What an AA system. He pays for my water and electricity bills and then transfers the saved money to his mother, loses it to poker friends, buys luxury watches, and goes to clubs. And what about me? I paid the water and electricity bills and then gave all the remaining money to this family. All given to the child. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. All for this bullshit marriage. I laughed. It's not a forced smile. It's really funny. Why am I so stupid? What have I been doing these 10 years? 6. That night, I didn't quarrel with Zhou Ran. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. Zhou Ran saw that I was silent and thought I had calmed down. He came over and wanted to hug me. I ducked. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing. I said, I just want to be alone for a while. He was a little unhappy, but said nothing and went into the study to play games. At night, I lay in bed and thought about it for a long time. I'm thinking about what to do next. Divorce? I can. But what about the children? The house is mine, no problem. But I have to fight for the custody of the child. And in the past 10 years, how will my efforts be calculated? I don't want to spend 10 years in vain and get nothing. I need to think clearly. The next day, I made an appointment with a lawyer friend. She is my college classmate and specializes in marriage and family cases. I told her the situation. After listening, she sighed. Ching Ching, your situation is too typical. In an AA marriage, the woman is always the one who suffers in the end. Why? I asked. Because women have reproductive costs. Pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, taking care of children. Men can't do these things, and they don't know how to calculate money. But these things consume women's time, energy, and career development. You took 3 months of maternity leave, and your salary was reduced by 20,000 yuan. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. How much time and energy do you spend doing housework every day, converted into money, is it worth? No one will do this for you. But under the AA system, count everything you can. The part you can count is shared. The part you can't count is all yours to bear. So you deposited 130,000 and he deposited 1.87 million. The difference of 1.74 million is the cost of your childbirth, your housework, and your career losses. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later. That's all we know. Then what can I do? I ask. Depends on what you want. If you want a divorce, the house is yours, no problem. You have an advantage in custody of the child. You've been taking care of it for the past few years, and he has almost no involvement. But it's hard for you to get a share of his savings. Because of your AA system, property is inherently separate. What he saves is his, and what you save is yours. Unless you can prove that his savings include your contribution, such as the labor you put in for the family. But this is difficult to prove. I thought about it. What if we don't get divorced? If you don't get a divorce, she looked at me, you have to renegotiate the terms. What conditions? The rules of the AA system will be reestablished. Housework must be converted into money. Taking care of children costs money. Your time and energy must be converted into money. Either he does it or he pays for it. You can't do it, and you don't have to pay for it. I nodded. One more thing, she said, the house problem. You must not add his name. Your parents bought this house in full, and it's in your name. It's your personal property before marriage. With his name added, it becomes joint property of the couple. In case of divorce in the future, he can get half of it. And you won't get a penny of his 1.87 million deposit. Because it was his separate property before/during marriage. Understood. I took a deep breath. Got it. 7. On the weekend, my mother-in-law came. They came directly to my house without any prior notice. As soon as she entered the door, she held Zhou Ran's hand with a distressed look on her face. Son, I heard that you and Amelia Su had a fight. Zhou Ran glanced at me and said nothing. My mother-in-law turned to me, her expression not very good. Su Qing, let me ask you a question. Ran asked you to add his name to the house, don't you agree? I looked at her and said nothing. You've been married for 10 years. The mother-in-law's voice rose a little louder. It has always been an AA system, but I have never treated you badly. He makes a lot of money, but he never lets you pay a penny more. He transfers money to the public account on time every month, and there is never any shortage. He has been extremely kind to you. Now I ask you to add a name, but you don't want to? Su Qing, are you too stingy? I took a deep breath. Mom, my parents bought this house. So what? My mother-in-law stared at me. If you marry my son, won't you become a member of our family? Isn't it appropriate to add his name to the house? If you don't add his name, are you planning to kick him in the future? I laughed. Mom, let me ask you a question. How much money do you transfer to Zhou Ran every year? The mother-in-law was stunned for a moment. What happened to the money I gave to my son? It's my own money, and I can give it to whomever I like. Then the house my parents gave me also belongs to them? Who do they love to give to? The mother-in-law's face changed. What do you mean? What I mean is, I looked at her. The money you gave Zhou Ran was never given to me. Why should Zhou Ran's name be added to the house my parents gave me? The mother-in-law opened her mouth, but was speechless. Zhou Ran spoke. Su Qing, can you stop talking like that? Then what do you want me to say? I looked at him. Do you know how much money your mother has transferred to you over the years you have been married? 430,000. Zhou Ran's expression changed. I checked your bank statement. I said, 3 years for 130,000. Suing. His voice became louder. Why do you check my blood flow? I am your wife. Shouldn't the property between husband and wife be transparent to each other? You said it yourself. He froze. I continued. You said the AA system is fair. But your AA is just for water, electricity, and living expenses. Your mother gave you $430,000, but you never said AA. You lost $120,000 in poker, and you didn't say AA. You bought a watch worth 68,000 yuan, hid it, and never told me. Zhou Ran, tell me, is this called AA? His face looked ugly. The mother-in-law's face turned even more ugly. Su Qing, the mother-in-law screamed, what does it have to do with you if I give my son money? What does it have to do with me? I laughed. Your son has been married for 10 years and has saved 1.87 million. What about me? I saved 130,000. What's the difference of 1.74 million? It's the price I paid for being pregnant, giving birth, taking care of the children, doing housework, and taking care of you during the 3 months you were hospitalized. Has your son AA eaten these? The mother-in-law was stunned. Your son said that taking care of children and doing housework is what women should do. Okay, that's what I should do. But why shouldn't I share the 430,000 you gave him? My labor is not valuable, but your money is valuable? Why? The living room was quiet. Zhou Ran's face looked ugly, and her mother-in-law's face looked even worse. I looked at them and said word by word. House, I won't add a name. That's my bottom line. If you think it's unfair, we can sit down and calculate the accounts of the past 10 years. 8. The conversation that day ended unhappily. The mother-in-law was angry and left, and Zhou Ran also went out with a dark face. I was sitting alone in the living room, staring out the window in a daze. The child was doing homework in a room and didn't know what was happening. I think I should give him a stable environment. No matter what happens between Zhou Ran and I, the child is innocent. In the evening, Zhou Ran came back. He stood at the door of the living room and looked at me. Su Qing, let's talk. I nodded. Sit down. He sat down opposite me and was silent for a while. I admit that there are some things that I didn't do well enough. But what you said today was so hurtful. Settling those accounts in front of my mother. You make me lose face. I looked at him and said nothing. I know you've worked hard over the years, he continued, but it hasn't been easy for me either. I go to work every day and it's very stressful. I make money to support my family and it's very hard. You can't deny my efforts just because you did the housework. I took a deep breath. Zhou Ran, you said you make money to support your family. But are you the one who raised this family? Utility bills, AA. Property fee, AA. Living expenses, AA. I'll buy the children's things. If your mother comes to stay for 3 months, money will be deducted from the public account. What penny did you spend on supporting your family? He froze. You gave your mother 430,000 yuan, lost 120,000 yuan playing cards, bought a watch for 68,000 yuan, and spent more than 30,000 yuan a year in the club. Tell me, what kind of family did you raise? His face looked ugly. I'm not. Not what? Zhou Ran, let me ask you a question. If we didn't have an AA system, would you be willing to leave your salary to me? He said nothing. You don't want to, right? Because you think it's your money. Then why do you want to add a name to my parents' house? That's my house. You said AA is fair. Okay, let's go AA to the end. My house mine. Your savings yours. Everyone should do his own thing, and don't worry about anyone else's. Zhou Ran stared at me and didn't speak for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Su Qing, you have changed. You made me change, I said. After 10 years, I finally see clearly. What you said is fair. You make the money, and I contribute. You save up 1.87 million, and I save up for my illness. My time, energy, and health are all given to this family. What did you give? You made an AA promise. Then you take the money you save and live your life. Zhou Ran, you are not my husband. You are my roommate. You just paid 10 years rent.